Very tragic crime just happened not too far from my neck of the woods in the desert there in San Bernardino County. Now, I'm over in the nicer area near where they have the Coachella concert, but up in the desert near Victorville, which is near that federal prison, 6 guys were just slain 2 days ago in a big marijuana dispute. And that desert area out there is often the site of all kind of weird crimes. It's at the edge of the Mojave Desert. It's this vast, I think San Bernardino County might be bigger than, well, it's definitely bigger than multiple states. And that's a county just east of LA. It's referred to as the Inland Empire. San Bernardino is the capital city, but it's I don't know, it probably had a population of 5 million people. But so they have these big grows out there. And these are all people with double last names, double Hispanic last names. Sounds like the victims and the people under arrest. Now, what does that mean? Well, American-born people of Hispanic descent, some or Mexicans, sometimes they have the double last name, but definitely all Mexicans. So like, you'll see their name, Mario Lopez Rodriguez. You get one name from the mother and one from the father. These could be all cartel people because that's who's doing a lot of the big grows. For those of you in the game, you may have heard of the terms light deprivation. So a lot of the weed that's coming even from Cali are like either these outdoor grows or they're these mega indoor grows. So that to get that super duper duper high quality, you have to do a smaller grow. Someone tends to them constantly. But for those pounds that are coming out of Cali at 400 a whop now that are pretty good, they're growing them in these huge mega grows, often with cartel money. The cartel has put people on this side of the border. So 5 guys under arrest, 6 were found slain out in the desert in San Bernardino. And the economics of it is this. I read a RAND report. RAND is set up after World War II to help the U.S. government analyze complex issues, but it's often used for all sorts of analytical tasks. And I was reading a RAND report on the Sinaloa cartel circa 05 or something, and half of all their revenue was coming from the reefers. And in fact, of all the people I both know personally and have just know of from studying this stuff, even in Detroit, the most money always, well, probably since the late 90s or mid 90s, the most money made by the reefers. So the cartel, instead of, as these higher grade stuff started to be grown in the U.S., they just put people over here and grew stuff. And what's interesting, in another part of California in the north, people think the Bay is northern Cali. California is so large, the Bay and Oakland, San Francisco, that's the middle of California, actually. There's 600 more miles till you get to the, the Washington border or the Oregon border? What's right there? Oregon and then Washington, the Oregon border. There's a group of people called the Hmong, H-M-O-N-G. They were Asian hill tribe in Vietnam War that helped the U.S., especially the CIA, sabotage things the North Vietnamese were doing, conducting an illegal war in Laos. So a bunch of them were let over here. It was easy for them to get political asylum because the North Vietnamese were going to, all of them, for helping the U.S. And there's a lot in Minneapolis. There's a lot in Long Beach. There's actually some in Detroit. Oddly enough, there was like a little neighborhood on the east side of Detroit near where all your favorite rappers are from. It wasn't in the red zone, but it was over that way by Osborne High School. It was a whole little Hmong community. And in Osborne High School in Detroit, like when I was going there was always, you would look at a yearbook and there'd be like these 40 hardcore Asian students in a sea of non-Asian faces. That was the Hmong. But so up in the north, the Hmong are dominating and LA is so so flooded with the reefers, the prices have collapsed so much. So I would imagine now with shrinking profits, people are battling over, who knows why they killed those guys. I mean, was it, I doubt if it was to rob them. Maybe it was just like a dispute over what they had going on, and it just happened to be at one of these grows, or maybe they were robbing it. I mean, if you get, 500 pounds at $500 each, it's a $250,000 lick. You get, but so much reefer in LA. I mean, growers are driving down from the north and from out in this San Bernardino area, and they just show up in LA, and someone will be, hey, I got a grower in town. He's sitting downstairs in a van with 500 pounds. You want to come look at it? Not that I'm involved in that sort of thing, but I just hear about these sorts of things because they're so desperate to dump it. Prices have dropped by 2/3 or more since the peak during pandemic, when I heard real white runts were going for $3,200, $3,600 a bow. I don't think there's anything going for that now. Nowhere near. I think someone told me for $1,200 you can get top of the line stuff out there now, allegedly, supposedly. But sad tragedy, these 6 guys were, and to go back to my idea that this is probably cartel related, they were doused in gasoline, and so pretty brutal. This isn't just some first time operators that did this. Sound like some sicarios to me. But they got the 5 guys in custody, and we'll see what happens. But California is awash with people from Mexico doing big things. So it's kind of off topic, but just this story made me think about all the wild stuff that goes on out there. So I knew some Asians. I don't know, they weren't Hmong, but they probably were connected to the Hmong. They were down in LA, and they had to hook up, and then things started going sour, and they were setting up robberies. In fact, my boy walked in on them. They had some Nigerian yoked up and were robbing them. He came to cop. And that guy ended up having to flee town because he owed a bunch of money, and the Hmong gangsters were coming down from up north. And some guys, some African-American gentlemen I know from somewhere else, this isn't recently, this some time ago, they got hooked up with some federales, and they met with them in California, and the federales were going to feed them whatever. They wanted to cop a big amount of the reefers, and the federales were like, well, that's not how it works. Whatever you get this time, that's what you get every month. That's the deal. There is no cop and go. Whatever you get, you respond. We're gonna give it to you every month. So they took a pass. But yeah, they tried to burn these guys, I guess, get any DNA evidence off of them. And it's a really remote area back in the 80s, or probably even now, because the PCP is still big in I guess just the black community. I don't know if Hispanics are into that, but the gangs will go, if you're a PCP cook, Compton was always known for that, and having people that could cook, you make more money faster in that game than anything. And they use that same desert area because it's just empty, and you can have a building, blow stuff up, whatever. So is this an example of the cartels getting aggressive and taking over some turf in San Bernardino County, aka the Inland Empire? Only time will tell. So that's today's wild crime out of California. Be careful, the reefers will get you murked just as fast as anything else. Money is money. Our profit, American reefers dope.